Hey friends, Ash here. Welcome back to Gents. Hope you're doing well. Just working on my pull-up form, dude. Jacked. Today I've got for you guys 10 different crowd-pleasing fragrances you cannot go wrong with. If somebody dislikes these fragrances, you know immediately they ain't human.
I am telling you right now, that mother back there is not real.
Yeah, that's right. This is a tried, tested, proven scientific method. All of these fragrances, if you are a human, you will get a positive reaction. They will enjoy it. If they don't like it, it means they're a reptilian, mole person, an alien impersonating as a human. It's trouble, it's trouble. I've seen it too many times. It's rough. All of these, though, are crowd pleasers, easy to wear. All of them are going to be linked in the description as well. We're going to get started right away with this little beauty right here, Acqua di Gio Eau de Toilette. This is the new version, the 2024 version, which you can tell because of that slick new bottle. Yeah, basically it's just a little gradient now. So the old ones had this kind of frosted look that's up top all the way down, but the new ones get kind of clear toward the bottom. That's the easiest way to tell. And the 2024 iteration of Acqua di Gio Eau de Toilette is updated. It's a little bit different. This one is a more modern take on the Acqua di Gio DNA. It's got more citrus off the top. It kind of pops you with a little bit more of that citrusy freshness when you spray it on. Also doesn't have as much of the floral aspects that the original one had. So that one has been dialed down a little bit, that one aspect rather. Now, if you've been around for a minute on this channel, which if you have, thank you, love you guys, you'll know that Acqua di Gio Eau de Toilette, kind of my jam. I wore the original obsessively when I was younger, okay? It was unhealthy.
Hey, what is that? Smell of success.
But it was because I got so many compliments wearing the stuff. And honestly, look, if you weren't around back then, you're gonna have to take my word on it. But after Acqua di Gio came out, which I wasn't wearing Acqua di Gio when it was brand new, but around when it came out, up through probably late 2000s even, 2008, 9, 10, Acqua di Gio crushed. And you gotta understand, there was not as much competition back then. Like fragrance-wise, we got crazy crap coming out all the time now, just unholy amounts of releases. We're talking about designer, indie, niche, and clones at this point. There's like new releases every single week. Back then, there wasn't as much competition, and this crushed everything. Like, you could not go a day without getting compliments, so I wore it a lot. And it still works today just as well as back then. But I do feel that this new iteration is the one I would go for. And that's because it has been modernized, and the way that it comes across is better suited for what most people are looking for nowadays. Extremely easy to wear, clean, fresh, and a compliment puller. It's what most people are looking for in their fragrances, I mean. I don't know what you're looking for in life, brother. That's a different channel. But if you want to smell good, I can help you do that. Now, before we head to the next fragrance, guys, again, all of these linked in the description, but here's some codes you can use to save money. As usual, here they are. The JOMASHOP code only works in the app, and that will change as we start to head into December. So before too terribly long, those are going to be updated, but all the other codes are good to go, including the new one for Beauty House. Let's go mad cheap with the next one. Let's go L'Homme Rochas. Now, this is a blue fragrance. Obviously, you can tell by the blue colored bottle, although not all blue bottles are blue fragrances. But anyway, it's a blue fragrance, which means it's made for versatility, made for ease of use. It does lean more towards spring, summertime use, but realistically, you can wear this type of fragrance whenever you want, especially if during winter, you're in a heated building, which I'm assuming most people are. It's not like, it's wintertime, gotta go to work. It's gonna be 45 degrees in the office today. That's Fahrenheit. Celsius, that's a totally different thing. 45 Celsius, okay.
This is fine. I'm okay with the events that are unfolding currently.
But yeah, blue fragrance, versatile, easy to wear. Has pineapple off the top, some blood orange as well. Good amount of juniper in there, giving it an aromatic touch, some tonka as it dries down, which gives it more sweetness. It's a little bit similar in style to Dolce & Gabbana's K, though between the two, especially when you consider the price point, I prefer this one. And that's because price-wise, this one, under 30 bucks. Yeah, at discounters, not very expensive at all. The next fragrance is not part of the official top 10, so Yeah, I've technically got 11 fragrances for you here today, and you'll know why it's not in the official top 10, most likely, when I show it to you. It is American Novelist. And for those of you who are like, well, what does that mean? That means nothing to me. Well, this is by Michael Malul, and I work with Michael Malul. That's what we like to call in the business a conflict of interest.
Conflict of interest.
Oh, by the way, my fragrances are better than that one. I'm not biased at all. Yes, I am. Terra Nova, Jet Black Enigma, Edgewater, West Loop, and South Slope. You can find those at every Perfumania and fragrance outlet store in the United States. Also, you can find it at Michael Malul's website, linked down below. For fall and winter time of those, I would suggest West Loop and Jet Black Enigma, and then Terra Nova probably underneath that. South Slope and Edgewater are more for like spring, summer. But yeah, this one here, American Novelist, this was done in collaboration with Esquire. That's right, Esquire magazine, which I guess also is Esquire the website nowadays as well. But this stuff low-key slaps. It's actually really, really good. So they released 4 fragrances as part of this Esquire collab. The one that I like the most, especially as a day-to-day wear kind of fragrance, is this one. And truth be told, the note breakdown on this is not really anything all that exciting. It's not that it's bad, it's just that there's not one of those notes that jumps out and grabs people's attention, right? And a lot of that is marketing when it comes to fragrances, but you know what I mean. Like you'll see a note breakdown and plum will be in the note breakdown and people will be like, ooh, plum. Oh, that sounds good. Stuff like that. Like this one with pineapple. Oh, pineapple, I like pineapple. This one has bergamot, juniper, and mint off the top. Classy, easy to wear, sexy. Sage, leather, and woods as it dries down. It's kind of a year-round fragrance. This is one that I think you could wear any season, daytime or evening. It's office safe, but it has enough of a classiness to it that you could wear it in formal occasions. Also, moving on, Dylan Blue in my oversized bottle. Dylan Blue is like that Goldilocks blue fragrance. It's not too expensive, also not too cheap. It's from a brand that everybody knows. The quality is very good. The performance, very good as well. Not overwhelming, not aggressively in your face, but not weak and piddly either. It has enough freshness that you can wear it in spring and summer, but it has enough depth and body that you could wear it in fall and winter. For the people that want something that performs in terms of compliments and versatility, as well as a Sauvage or even Bleu de Chanel, but they don't want to spend that much money, but they also want something with good quality from a name that people know, that's this. And that's one of the reasons it is so popular. It smells extremely pleasant, very easy to wear, and even the bottle itself looks pretty nice. Let's talk this one next. This is Le Sel d'Issey from Issey Miyake. Now, honestly, I thought this was probably gonna be trash. I covered it in a This Week in Fragrance video when it was first announced. Kind of funny as well. Issey Miyake, or somebody at Issey Miyake, reached out to me and they were like, hey, where did you get that information in the video? Nobody's supposed to know about that yet. To which I responded, well, it's kind of all over the internet already, so just Google it and you can find out yourself. To which they responded, oh, thanks. I appreciate you letting me know that, and we'd love to send this to you, which they never did.
I'm impressed with your stick-to-itiveness.
But that's okay. I went ahead and bought it from JOMASHOP, and like I said, I was keeping an open mind, but I did feel like that doesn't sound very, very interesting again. It's based around the power of salt, which, yeah, salt is good. I like it sometimes when I'm eating food and I feel like it doesn't have enough flavor, I will put salt on the food, and I do enjoy that. But when they were like, hey, we got this new Issey Miyake salt, I was just like, all right, we'll see. And in actuality, I like it. Simple, yes, but kind of interesting. So it's done by Quentin Bish, and you can tell immediately. The second you spray this on, it has his fingerprints all over it. And by that I mean if you're familiar with some of his fragrances, like the new Kenzo Homme line and Ganymede to a lesser extent, you can pick out bits of those fragrances in here. Now don't take that as me saying this smells like Ganymede. It doesn't. But there are some bits and pieces there, that minerality that carries through those fragrances that I just mentioned in this one. Now there is a seaweed note in here, and it does have kind of a marine feel to it from the opening into the dry down, which you would expect, but it never goes full on like briny, difficult to wear, funky seawater. Some fragrances get that vibe, and people will like that a lot of times. They'll be like, oh, this is a more realistic smelling sea note. This keeps things a little sweeter, more palatable, and it does capture a bit of that feeling of sea air, but it just keeps things a little cleaner. I like it a lot as a nice change of pace during spring and summer. After that, Legend Blue from Montblanc. Now when this fragrance first came out, there was a decent amount of people kind of weren't really impressed by it, we'll say. You know, they were like, yeah, that was kind of the reaction. It's a really good in-depth breakdown of how it was viewed. But I like this thing. I like this thing right off the bat. And I'll tell you why. It smells like a Legend fragrance. So if you like the Legend line, you'll probably like this. Now, what that means is it smells also similar to Abercrombie & Fitch Fierce, Parfums Marley Percival, fragrances of that ilk. But it is a little bit sweeter, it's fresher, has almost like a touch of creaminess around the edges, and it's also almost like water flecked, water splashed. You know, it's not like a full-on aquatic, but it's got a little bit of that vibe. And I love it as just a very easy to wear, versatile fragrance that people really enjoy. It's smoother than Legend Eau de Toilette, and as time goes on, the price on this is going to continue to drop. And when you can pick this thing up for sub $40, it's a great day-to-day fragrance. And I think it's, you know, kind of like going back here to the new version of Acqua di Gio Eau de Toilette. This is basically just a new version of Legend. I know that's really literally what it is, but that's the idea, right? Take Legend Eau de Toilette, tweak that, make it maybe more approachable for people looking for new fragrances, younger guys coming up and stuff. It just smells good. And sometimes it is that simple. You just want something that smells good. Let's go next with Y Eau de Toilette. Now, obviously the most popular one in this line is Y Eau de Parfum, and that would also work really well, but to be honest, all the Y fragrances would fit into this list, not just this one. So this came out in 2022, but not exactly. The original Y Eau de Toilette came out in 2017, but that one was discontinued / reformulated into this version. So if you buy Y Eau de Toilette nowadays, you should be getting this, especially if you're shopping at retail. And a lot of times you'd be like, oh, I hate that they reformulated it, because that's one of the pet peeves of a lot of people, reformulations, but this time it's actually for the better. I think that the Y Eau de Toilette 2022 version overall smells better than the 2017. So we'll take that victory, right? You take them whenever you can get them. So this one is very airy, fresh, zingy, sweet off the top, very clean as well. You have bergamot and ginger in there, kind of an ozonic opening. As it dries down, you have lavender, a little bit of vanilla, some woods, ambergris as well. Ambergris. This one sometimes gets overlooked, but it is so good. If you like the Y line, I think you will absolutely like this one. It is similar in smell to Y Eau de Parfum to an extent, which you would expect, but it is also, as you would expect, the fresher of the two, not quite as sweet, and probably the more versatile one as well. Now, one thing that I want to bring up with this one, just kind of a warning, I'm not going to go into crazy detail, but the Y fragrances are pretty heavily faked on eBay. So if you go onto eBay and you see Y Eau de Toilette for like 30 bucks, 35, 40, something like that, it's probably fake. Just be aware of that. I've done some videos on my channel about real versus fake fragrances on eBay specifically. One of those was Y Le Parfum, so if you want more info, you can check that out, but just be aware of that. Let's go crazy cheap again with Karl Lagerfeld. This one is Hamburg Ulster. And this one, I think I bought from JOMASHOP, and it was like 20 bucks or just under. Regardless, really cheap. Now I'm kind of curious what exactly it was. Something around there. 18, 19, 20, 21, something like that. Now, this fragrance actually smells a little bit similar to Why eau de toilette? They're in the same wheelhouse, in the same family, in the same style. They're not the exact same, but they are similar. So this one has orange and mint off the top instead of the ginger citrus combo that YSL-Y has. And YSL-Y is a little more ozonic, a little bit more clean clothing, clean laundry-esque. This one has lavender and sage as it dries down. Also has some woodiness in there as well in the base. It's a fragrance like Y that's better suited for spring and summer overall. Be a good office fragrance, good work fragrance, good fragrance to wear to class, for example. And this one is really good for the price. The quality much higher than you would expect for a fragrance that you can get for like sub 20 bucks. And in general, that's Karl Lagerfeld. They have a lot of affordable fragrances. There are a couple of older ones that are not so great, but most of the ones that they've come out here over the past, I don't know, 5-6 years for the price point you can get them, really good. Spitting everywhere. Le Beau up next, the eau de toilette. This is a hype beast, right? Everybody knows it. It's a coconut fragrance. It's fresh. It is creamy. It has kind of a tropical sweetness to it. Some people might even say a little bit of like a nuttiness to it. And I feel like you can wear this one about year round. Now, if you're gonna like pinpoint it to the best seasons, once again, spring, summer, most of these are kind of like that. And that's because typically fresher fragrances with a bit of sweetness, which is what the majority of these are the types of fragrances people gravitate towards the most. When you start to go really dark, heavy, bold, that's when you get to fragrances that can be divisive, that don't work for everybody. If you're trying to keep it safe, usually fresh, sweet, that's where you want to stay. So yeah, coconut, tonka, bergamot, that's the note breakdown here. The tonka is going to give it kind of a vanilla feel to it. Like I said, a little creamy. Some people say nutty as well. Big compliment puller. And that goes for the whole Le Beau line. This one, Le Parfum, and Paradise Garden. And this is one that was a lot more difficult to find in the US until here recently, where it has finally popped up at retail stores. Let's go Polo Blue Parfum by Ralph Lauren up next. And in general, Ralph Lauren Polo Blue across the line is a fragrance line that's very safe. You could also go Ralph's Club from Ralph Lauren, and I think that is very versatile, very safe as well. So this one has the Polo Blue DNA to it, which means that it has similarities to the Eau de Parfum, and even back to the Eau de Toilette in it, which you would probably expect, but sometimes you do get Parfum flankers that aren't that close to the fragrances that came before them. So you've got mandarin orange here, a bit of pink pepper, some lavender, also oak in the base. So you have woodiness there, but oak typically also imparts a little waft of smokiness, which this one has. And that goes along with the olibanum that's in the base as well. So it's gonna give you a little incensey touch, not too much, and actually it's not completely far removed from the idea of Dylan Blue over here. That type of fragrance that's fresh and has a clean aspect to it, a classy aspect to it, which allows you to wear it during spring and summer, daytime or evening. But then in the base with the woods and that hint of incense allows it to be worn during fall and winter also. And we're gonna wrap it up with Eros Flame. Gotta give Eros Flame a little love once again. And I think that realistically, you could go with pretty much any of the Eros fragrances. Now, Eros Energy, I love Eros Energy. Very, very citrusy, but I think if we're talking, especially the most versatile ones, that Eros Flame is more versatile, and so are the main Eros fragrances. And that's because Eros Energy, if you hate citrus, especially like when it's an extreme focal point, that one's not gonna work as well for you. And it's more of a summertime fragrance, like summer daytime, right? So fall, winter, Eros Energy probably not gonna work for as many people, and even spring, probably rather go with Eros Flame or Eros Eau de Parfum or something. But I do love Eros Energy. Now, you know what I just said about Eros Energy, all that citrus? This has citrus too, a decent amount of it. It's just presented in a different way. So you got mandarin orange in here, you have lemon, you have kinoto, you have black pepper all off the top. Has almost like a hint of creaminess to it. It's not as like biting as the citrus in Energy is. Then you have a little rosemary, some aromatic touches to the fragrance, and a good amount of vanilla in here, tonka as well as it dries down. So that makes this one a great fragrance for all year, day or evening. Maybe middle of summer, you could go for something a little bit fresher than this one. Not that this is devoid of freshness, and you can wear this during summer. It's just has pretty good performance and a decent dose of vanilla. So could come across a little bit cloying if you go really heavy when it's very hot out. Outside of that, smells fantastic and doesn't get worn anywhere near as much as the main 3 Eros fragrances, the Eau de Toilette, Eau de Parfum, and Parfum. So there we go, guys. There are technically 11 fragrances that you can wear about anywhere. They're gonna be crowd pleasing, guaranteed. Very safe fragrances you don't have to think about. You can just grab, spray, and go, and they're gonna work. Thank you guys for hanging with me. Stay safe out there, and I'll see you tomorrow with another fragrance video. See you guys later.